Okay, welcome back. So we took a look at the top portion of the LFO in part one. Let me zoom in again and let's look at what's going on down below. That sounds, yeah, that sounds a little humorous. Let's look at what's going on down below. Anyhow, maybe it's just my warped mental state doing all these tutorials. So LFO, down on the bottom section here, we've got the rate amount. Again, that's dependent on whether we've got hertz or synchronization. But let me actually in this tutorial, we're going to real quickly, we're going to go into assigning modulation, but just for purposes in this LFO tutorial, I'm going to quickly assign the volume to LFO 1, just so we can hear it as I move through some of this. Yeah, and let's zoom back in here. So we've got the rate that can be adjusted here. So pretty straightforward, different rate amounts. And then you've got the amount at which it's applied, so you can decrease it basic where there's nothing being applied, or you can subtly bring it back. Next, we've got our shape. Negative and positive. And finally, we've got an offset, which determines where the cycle starts, essentially, whether it starts at its peak or it's low or somewhere in the middle. So pretty cool stuff. And then again, you've got your attack up here, which will still apply to this. So let's take a look at how some of these other shapes, these next four, can be affected by some of these same adjustments. Let's give it a little bit of an attack here. Let's change the shape, so now you can see you're getting sort of like a sawtooth almost. And then the amount, we can bring it down, we can offset it a little bit. So pretty cool. Let's take a look at the ramp. And if we open this guy up to 0, we've got our ramp, and then we've got our amount. Let's change our rate. Let's go to an 1/8. And again, we can offset this and adjust our attack as needed. And what do we got here? We've got the square. And you can kind of see the square almost looks like a pulse width modulation. It's a very good visualization of that kind of effect. Then you've got your amount again, and where we can start to cycle and offset. So finally, the last shape we have to work with on our LFO is the random. Change the different shapes, of course, and then again, offset. And that is the LFOs within the Wavetable synth. And of course, we've got more than one. We've got LFO 1 and LFO 2. So we've got 2 of them to work with, and they both pretty much, have the same features and act identical. It's just whether or not you're shaping or modulating more than one source. And that's where we're headed next. We're going to get over here to the mod matrix and take a look at some of the special ways we can really start to shape our sound. Just before I do that, though, I want to get too far away from myself. If you've got the triangle closed and you're looking at the smaller screen, the things we were just looking at, like the amp envelope, all those things are right here. Envelope 1 or 2, 3, LFO 1 and 2, and things like that can all still be accessed right here. I just wanted to show you guys that, so that's something we don't leave out. in case you choose to work in this, smaller screen section. But for our tutorial on our course here, we're going to keep this screen open. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at the modulation matrix. All right, see you in the next lesson.